So DeHaven for caving. That's why we don't speak. Made men ain't supposed to make mistakes.
Shawn Carter, also known as Jehovah, but known to the world as Jay-Z, is one of the most powerful names in music history. When people hear Jay-Z, they usually think of one of three things: the greatest rapper of all time, the husband of Beyonce, or a billionaire businessman. But long before the Grammys, the champagne in the boardrooms, Jay-Z was just a kid from Brooklyn's Marcy Projects, trying to survive. And his story didn't start with fame. It started with pain. Like many kids growing up in the projects, Jay-Z's childhood followed a familiar pattern. He was a good student early on, smart, observant, quiet. But one thing changed everything. His father left. Jay-Z has spoken openly about how much that loss hurt him. As a child, your father is your superhero. He's the strongest man in the world. So when that man disappears, it leaves a hole that nothing else seems to fill. Jay once said that losing his father was traumatic. That pain didn't just fade away. It pushed him toward the streets, because when a father is gone, kids look for other male role models. In Marcy Projects, those role models weren't doctors or lawyers. They were drug dealers. During the 1980s, Marcy Projects was surrounded by drugs, crime, and violence. This was the era of Reaganomics, when crack cocaine flooded inner-city neighborhoods across America. Jay-Z said it himself. Crack was everywhere. You could smell it in the hallways. You saw empty vials floating in the gutters. It wasn't hidden, it was normal. So getting into the drug game wasn't complicated. It wasn't some dramatic moment. It was one conversation. A friend his age introduced him to someone slightly older. That person explained the rules. Be serious. Don't get high on your own supply. Treat it like a business. Just like that, Jay-Z was in. DeHaven, Jay-Z friend, played the role of a brother, partner, and protector. One of the most important people in Jay-Z's early life was DeHaven. They met as kids, walking to school together. DeHaven noticed Jay getting harassed by older kids and gangs, lining him up, checking his pockets. So DeHaven stepped in and told Jay to walk with him. That simple act turned into a brotherhood. They did everything together. They even had a paper route at first, but that paper route eventually became a drug route. Their bond wasn't just friendship, it was survival. Things escalated after Jay-Z performed at a talent show in Queens. One of the judges that night was LL Cool J, who recognized Jay's talent and told him he was nice. Even though Jay didn't win officially, that moment mattered. Around the same time, DeHaven came across a stash of drugs through a girl he knew. Instead of panicking, he called Jay. They sold it. Fast. Money started coming in. Shopping every day. No long-term thinking. Just fast cash and confidence. But once that stash ran out, DeHaven didn't know what to do next until a neighborhood figure named Spanish Jose pulled him aside. Spanish Jose introduced DeHaven and eventually Jay-Z to higher level connections. From that moment on, the hustle became serious. Violence comes with the game. The streets don't come without consequences. One of the most shocking moments in Jay-Z's life happened when he was just 12 years old. He accused his older brother Eric of stealing from him. The argument escalated. Jay pulled a gun and shot his brother in the shoulder. That moment haunted him. He later described it in his lyrics, how he closed his eyes and pulled the trigger, then opened them to see his brother on the ground. Thankfully, his brother survived. But that moment showed how deep Jay was already in the street mentality. In the drug game, not everything that glitters is gold. You gotta take the good with the bad. Another major incident happened when Jay-Z was robbed at gunpoint in Marcy Projects for his chain. DeHaven didn't hesitate. He went back to retrieve it. But when they arrived at the other projects, they were surrounded. Everyone had guns except them. DeHaven recognized some of the faces, the kids he grew up with, former friends. One of them told him straight up, "The only reason you're alive is because we went to school together." That moment hit hard. This is what the streets lead to friends turning into enemies. Survival based on memories, not morals. Because of all the trouble in Marcy, DeHaven's mother sent him to Trenton, New Jersey to finish high school. But instead of slowing down, DeHaven expanded. He created a crew known as the Four-Headed Monster. which included himself, Uncle Buzz, Panama, and Jay-Z. At first, Jay came to Trenton only on weekends. Eventually, he moved there full-time. Their system was organized. They would go back to New York, buy large quantities, bring it to Trenton, bottle it up, and sell out within a week. Jay-Z still had runners in Marcy while expanding in New Jersey. The money was flowing. Everything changed when DeHaven got locked up on a parole violation. While he was inside, Jay-Z made a move he wasn't supposed to make. He went behind DeHaven's back and dealt directly with a connect that wasn't his to touch. That violated street rules. Word got back to people connected to DeHaven, and they handled it the street way. Jay-Z was shot at from close range. 3 shots, all missed. Jay-Z almost lost his life. That incident permanently damaged his relationship with DeHaven. As the street life grew more dangerous, Jay-Z leaned harder into music. He linked up with Dame Dash and Kareem Biggs Burke, and together they formed Roc-A-Fella Records. In 1996, Jay-Z released his debut album, Reasonable Doubt. The album wasn't flashy. It was raw, real, street poetry, mixed with reflection. It didn't sell huge numbers at first, but it established Jay-Z as a serious artist. And unlike many rappers, Jay didn't fake his past. He lived it. One person Jay-Z never turned his back on was Emory Jones. Emory later caught a federal case and was sentenced to 16 years in prison. Jay-Z consistently showed him love in his music and even wrote a letter to the judge on his behalf. Emory eventually got released early. That loyalty stood in contrast to Jay's fallout with DeHaven, who later accused Jay-Z of betrayal and tried to expose him online. Jay responded through his music, labeling DeHaven a snitch, though no paperwork was ever produced. Jay-Z went on to drop classic albums, dominate hip-hop, and build an empire. His ventures include Roca-Wear clothing, Tidal streaming, luxury liquor brands, major sports, and entertainment investments. Jay-Z became one of the best-selling rappers of all time, and later, hip-hop's first billionaire. Through his music, he continued to reflect on his past, like the time he lost 92 bricks and had to crawl back from nothing. Jay-Z's story isn't about glorifying the streets. It's about surviving them. Very few people can say they spent over a decade in the drug game, walked away clean, and transformed into a global icon. Jay-Z did. From Marcy Projects to mogul status, his life is proof that where you start doesn't have to be where you finish. And that's why his story still matters today. What makes Jay-Z's story different isn't just that he survived the streets, it's that he outgrew them. Most people who come up in that environment either don't make it out alive, end up behind bars, or stay trapped mentally, even if they escape physically. Jay-Z did something rare. He evolved. He didn't erase his past. He didn't pretend it never happened. Instead, he turned it into lessons, lyrics, and leverage. Jay-Z's story also shows the difference between street power and real power. Street power is temporary, it's loud, it's dangerous, and it always expires. Real power is quiet, it's legal, it's ownership. Jay-Z figured that out before it was too late. Instead of dying for a corner, he bought the whole block. Instead of fighting for respect, he built influence. Instead of chasing fast money, he built systems that paid him while he slept. And that's why his story hits so hard in the true crime world, because it's one of the rare cases where the ending isn't prison or a grave. Jay-Z's past isn't just hip-hop history. It's a reflection of how many kids grew up and still grow up in the same conditions. Fatherless homes, easy access to drugs, few positive role models, survival over long-term thinking. His story matters because it proves that change is possible, but it also shows how close he came to losing everything multiple times. One wrong move, one bullet landing differently, one betrayal handled the wrong way, and the story would have ended very differently. Jay-Z didn't win because he was lucky. He won because he learned when to leave the game, and that decision saved his life. If you made it this far, hit the like button. It helps this channel more than you know. Drop a comment below and let me know. Do you think Jay-Z really left the streets clean, or did the streets just let him go? And if you want more real true crime stories, real street history, and deep dives like this one, Watch the video below and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what's next. More stories, more truth, no filters.